In this question, we've been asked to effectively calculate the concentration of calcium chloride in a given solution. For this particular solution, we've been provided with the moles of the calcium chloride, and we've been provided with the volume of the solution. So what would be our first step in this question? Well, first of all, the question arises, well, do we need to use the periodic table to work out this particular question? Now, whether we need the periodic table would be contingent on what we actually need to work out the concentration, and would be contingent on what we've already been provided with. Therefore, let's refer to the equation we would be using to try and work out the concentration. So in this case, moles, and I would represent that with mole like this, would be equal to the concentration and that's in, as you can see, it would be moles per dm³ multiplied by the volume, and that's in dm³. When we look at this, we know we're aiming for the concentration, right? So if we just first of all make concentration the subject of this equation, and I'll do that by dividing both sides of the equation by volume. Okay, so divided by the volume and I'll divide this side by the volume, so as you can see, what would happen in this instance is that would then cancel out effectively to 1, so it's just left with concentration. And if we now just write what the result would be, we get, and I'm going to put the concentration on the left hand side here. Concentration is equal to the moles divided by the volume. And of course, based on that, we know that the units for concentration, as stated here, moles divided by dm³ is moles per dm³. Okay, so as I said, in order to work out whether or not we do need a periodic table in this question, we need to look at what have we actually been provided with in the question. So as you see, we need the moles and we need the volume. We don't actually need more than that, unless we need to work out the moles from something else. But in this case, we've actually been told exactly what the moles is. So we don't actually need the periodic table because we've already been provided with the moles. And in terms of the volume, well, we've already been provided with the volume as well. So from this point, effectively, let's just look at the units as well. So this equation is in terms of dm³. We can see here that this question is we've been provided the volume in dm³. So it basically plugs quite straightforwardly into the formula. And so in this case, the concentration would be equal to 0.353 divided by 0.707, right? And so if you try and work that out on your calculator and see what you get. So if we do run that calculation, what you'll find is you're going to get 0.499298. Okay. Now, do we have our answer yet? Not quite. Our question asks us that we need to give our answer to 3 decimal places, and it also asks us that we need to give a concentration. Currently we have a rough figure, we do not have it rounded to the correct number of decimal places, and we do not have the units in place yet, so we need to just quickly do that. So this equals 0.499. So now it's to 3 decimal places as the question specified, and then we need the unit. So as we worked out here from this, moles divided by dm³, moles per dm³, so the units would be 0.499, and then moles per dm³. So dm to the minus 3. Okay, so yeah, in this case that would be our answer.